Begun in the spring of 2008 on the campus of Stephen F. Austin State University, the Center for Regional Heritage Research is multidisciplinary in its focus and unites faculty in several different departments under the coordination of Dr. George Avery in order to expand the university's research capabilities. The departments and programs involved in the center include history, the Stone Fort Museum, geography, archaeology, kinesiology, human sciences, the Columbia Regional Geospatial Service Center, the East Texas Research Center, and Digital Projects, developer of Tides. The center, located on the ground floor of the Ferguson Liberal Arts Building, had its first opportunity to coordinate university resources during the spring break of 2008 after a group of SFA faculty members rescued a collection of documents from a building in downtown Nacogdoches, last occupied by local judge Jack C. Pierce. This particular collection came to us in a state of extreme disorder in which only some of the documents remained in their original file boxes. However, most of the documents were loosely strewn in weathered boxes and plastic trash bags. The disarray of the collection is due to the circumstances by which it was acquired. In March 2008, the Hardiman Building, where Judge Pierce's law firm had been located, was cleared out for renovations, preparing the building for its new owners. Carolyn Spears, curator of the Stone Fort Museum, accidentally discovered the documents scattered among other items headed for the local dump. Spears, along with biology professor Dr. Will Godwin and geography professor Dr. Jeff Roth, rescued the collection that evening from a trailer that was to be taken to the landfill the next morning. A tremendous amount of work was required to make the collection usable to researchers. Over time, as the papers sat in their non-preserved state, not only were they susceptible to damage wrought by temperature changes, moisture, and simply the passing of time, but had become a home for insects. Insects are a major cause of damage to paper documents. Therefore, we at the Center turned to SFA scientists to address this issue using fumigation. Dr. Will Godwin of the SFA Biology Department fumigated the documents using an acetone gas, similar to nail polish remover. The lethal gas kills the insects, but leaves no harmful residue on the documents, leaving them safe to handle. This step was necessary before we were able to bring the collection into the center for processing. One of the first steps in the archival process was to sort out which items would serve useful as research material to be included in archival holdings, and to decide which items were not. After establishing which documents might be useful to researchers, we addressed the other issues that posed the threat of the document's destruction. Over time, the documents had suffered damage not only from insects, but had also accumulated years' worth of dust and dirt. Also, as a result of exposure to moisture, some items had developed mildew. For these reasons, many items in the collection were cleaned using vulcanized rubber sponges. Further cleaning issues involve removing insect remains, as well as scraping away pieces of dry, rotted rubber band residue and cleaning as many stains as possible. Another major issue in archival processing is the removal of future deterioration-causing agents. Removal of metal fasteners such as staples, paper clips, pins, and brads helps prevent additional deterioration by eliminating corrosive materials. Documents previously bound with metal fasteners were kept grouped together with folded sheets of plain white acid-free paper. Some of these deterioration-causing agents include pigments in some of the paper, which causes discoloration of other materials in the collection. For this reason, one of the next steps in the archival process involved rehousing the documents using acid-free folders and file boxes, and separating documents printed on acidic paper from other documents using acid-free sheets of plain white paper. Some of the collection also contains photographs. In preserving photographs, we were careful to prevent the transfer of oils from our skin onto the photos by wearing cotton gloves while encapsulating them in special protective plastic sleeves made of Melanex, a material similar to mylar. As mentioned earlier, some of the documents were still in the order created by the lawyer's office, and this was preserved. However, we had to establish a new order for the rest of the collection. One of the most important and difficult parts of the organization process included grouping the collection into broad series. This collection contains not only the papers of Judge Pierce, but also the papers of 2 attorneys who preceded him in this particular practice. The firm, originally located in the Perkins Building of North Fredonia Street, had first belonged to Judge Charles A. Hodges. Judge Hodges practiced there until the time of his death in 1933. At the time of Hodges' death, the firm became the sole practice of James Greve, who had joined the firm under Hodges in 1918. Greve, who occasionally served as interim judge, continued to practice at the firm until his death in late November of 1958, at which time Pierce, having began with the firm earlier that year, took over the practice. In the 1980s, the Commercial Bank of Texas renovated the building, incorporating the original law office in the process, and the practice was relocated to the Hardiman Building. Considering the nature and breadth of the collection, it became apparent that it would be necessary to break the collection into separate series corresponding to each of the 3 attorneys who practiced at the firm. Once the documents were divided into series, they were ordered chronologically, with the exception of those items that had been saved in their original order. After processing, the Hodges Greve Pierce collection was taken to the East Texas Research Center, where the documents are now housed in the special collections. The East Texas Research Center is located on the 2nd floor of the Steen Library at the Stephen F. Austin State University campus. Here, the documents are kept at an optimal temperature and humidity level to ensure their preservation. The Hodges Greve Pierce collection complements many of the ETRC's other archival holdings, which include inactive county records for Nacogdoches and 7 surrounding counties. In addition, many records in the collection deal with oil, gas, and timber leases, which supplement the ETRC's role as an official North American forest history repository. Anyone with documents, photographs, or other materials that could be useful in studying local East Texas history is encouraged to contact ETRC Director Linda Reynolds. The materials, such as those included in the Hodges Greve Pierce collection, are a valuable asset to our community. Although the documents may no longer be of use in the capacity for which they were created, they can be immensely important for researching local as well as state history. This collection includes material relating to many members of Nacogdoches' past, and provides a unique opportunity for a candid look into the daily lives of those who once lived in our community. The preservation of these pieces of our past has broad implications for a wide range of research opportunities, including environmental, economic, municipal, religious, and education projects that will unite both university and community researchers. Processing this collection is just one of the many tasks that the Center for Regional Heritage Research has set out to accomplish in its goal of encouraging, initiating, and coordinating local heritage projects.